Hello friends, this is Hedda. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading journal video. Today I'm going to talk about the books I read in August and I'm going to set up spreads for them in my reading journal. This beautiful journal is from Lila Journals. I'll put a link in the description box. Not sponsored, not gifted. I just really love her stuff and this notebook is everything. I'm going to start by making my cover page and I wanted to do something a little bit different this time. So I just cut some holes in the page and I started ripping a hole. I wanted to use this really cute cat sticker from Paper Monogatari. This is from her fall collection of last year, so it's no longer available for purchase. I just really love it. I've been saving it for the perfect month and letting it shine on my August cover page is absolutely perfect. I actually recently became a cat mom. So that's another reason for wanting to do a cat theme on this cover page. And I'm doing these kind of layers in the hole. So I made the first hole a lot bigger than it needed to be. And then I got two other types of paper that I'm gluing in and then ripping holes in them as well. I did something very similar to this in October 2022. You can find that in my September 2022 reading journal video because I used to make the cover pages ahead of time. I think that this is really fun and it becomes more of like a craft project and not just a journaling project. And also I have a lot of pages left to fill in this notebook, and so maybe I can find more ways to use more than one spread for my cover pages or for the journaling spreads in the coming months, because while I think that it would be totally fine to keep using this notebook next year as well, like if I have a lot of pages left, I might keep using it for January and February, but I would prefer to start a new journal for 2025. I just don't like wasting paper in my notebook, you know? For now though, let's just talk about August. I read 3 books in August, all novels, all continuations of series that I have already started. So yeah, there's not much new, I guess, in my reading experience for this month, but at the same time, I did come to some conclusions in my reading, so I'll talk more about that later when we get to those books. Overall, I'm really eager to start reading horror books this fall, actually, because there's just something about the fall and Halloween, October spooky season that makes it so much more enjoyable to read horror books. And I really appreciate all of you guys' recommendations on my last reading journal video. You guys had a lot of great recommendations for horror books, and yeah, I'm really excited to read them. For this cover page spread, I ended up gluing the 2 pages together so that when I open the notebook to August, I don't go to the page with the cat sticker on it, I go to the actual cover page. I have these frames that I got in Japan that I'm using for my reads this month. I didn't really find room for a title because these frames are pretty large, so I ended up putting the books read title on the top frame. You'll see later. It's very small and doesn't take up that much space, so I think that it worked out fine. I did put some washi tape on the main cover page as well, just to like give it something a little bit extra. These washi tapes are from Paper Monogatari as well, from the same collection as the cat sticker, and I ended up using more of the stickers from that collection on this spread, especially the cats and the flowers. The orange plaid washi tape is my own, actually. It's in my shop, ikigaipapir.com, so definitely check that out if you want to. The pre-orders for my advent calendar are still open, but now there is a limited amount of advent calendars left. So if you want it, I would definitely recommend getting it now, like sooner rather than later, because I will not be making a second print run of the products in the advent calendar, so I'm not making any extra. So once it's sold out, it's sold out forever. If you like stationery and if you like my art, I don't think you want to miss the advent calendar this year. You can see that I put down some washi tapes and then removed them, put down some other stuff. And that's why I love washi tape so much, or one of the reasons, I guess, because it is very easy to put it down and then remove it again. Although I will say in a later spread in this video, I remove washi tape and totally destroy the paper. So I guess it's not always true with every washi tape, but at least with the washi tapes that doesn't have super strong glue, it's easy to remove them or move them to somewhere else on the spread. Okay, so I know I kind of just dropped a bomb on you earlier saying that I'd become a cat mom, and that's why I did a cat theme. I did not adopt a cat, but I am fostering a cat. I signed up to be a foster home for cats who might need a place to stay because they can't be at the shelter for one reason or another. I was kind of expecting that they would call me and say that they had an old sick cat or an injured cat or something that needed somewhere to stay. But actually, I got a very young cat who had jumped in through someone's window and they couldn't find the owner. She wasn't chipped or anything, and she's super pregnant. So now I'm expecting kittens in the next few days, and I'm very excited, and there's gonna be at least 4, so that's gonna be crazy. But yeah, a very exciting time is ahead, and I'm very grateful. I really needed something like this right now in my life, and I'm very happy to take care of her, even though she has had some issues and there is a lot to deal with. I'll say that. It's taken a lot of my time for the past week or so while she's been here with me. But she's so cute. She's the best. Her name is Margot. So you'll be seeing more of her and her kittens in the next few months for sure. Finishing up this spread, I added some gold sparkles, the August title of course, and that was it. I think that it turned out really cute, maybe a little bit too fall themed for August, but who cares? The first book I read in August was the second Bridgerton book, the Viscount Who Loved Me. This is the book that the Netflix series season 2 is based off of. And, you know, after reading the first Bridgerton book, my expectations weren't super high because the first book was like okay for me. But the second book really sealed the deal for me that, you know, I won't be reading any more Bridgerton books. They are just not for me. And I'll be completely honest, I don't really get it. I don't get it. Like I said in my previous reading journal video, I really enjoyed the Netflix show. I think that the costumes are beautiful, the actors are really great, the set design is really pretty, and you know, the romance is cute as well, and the familial relationships and all of that. It's fun and it's enjoyable. But this book, I don't know. It had like similar issues as the first book. It's just that the characters were so much less likable. And I know that, you know, in some books the characters are supposed to be unlikable and they're supposed to be kind of in the gray area, and I do enjoy that mostly. But the thing is, with a romance book, I think that you're supposed to like the characters. Like, I think the author wants you to like the characters because that's the whole point of a romance book. Like, who wants to read a romance story about people you don't like or that you don't find attractive at all? You know, I like Edwina. She is, you know, pretty similar to the way they portray her in the show. She seems very nice and likable, and you know, I wanted her to succeed. Kate seemed at first to be very confident and similar to the way she's portrayed in the show. And I know that this is gonna sound a little bit weird that I'm comparing them to the show and I'm like using the show as the blueprint for the way I think the characters should be. But that's just because I watched the show first, so naturally that's what's gonna happen in my brain. But of course I know the books were written like 20 years ago, so they are the original work. Kate just turned into this really annoying like damsel in distress. So insecure and so like weak, I guess. The way she's portrayed in the book just portrays her as like very naive and foolish in a way. And that's not the way she starts out in the book. She regresses throughout the book, which kind of annoyed me a little bit. But that's not here nor there. Like, that's fine. I can deal with characters who are insecure, obviously. I just wish that she would have had a little bit more growth throughout the book. But the character that just made the whole book so bad for me was Anthony. Already in the TV show, I found him just a little bit annoying and stiff, but it was fine. But in the book, he's so awful, like so sexist. It turns him on that Kate is so innocent, and he really likes that she hasn't like done anything with other men before, even though he's like bragging about how many women he's slept with and stuff, and it's just like, ooh, it's gross. And he's so sexist, and some of his like inner monologue is just, it's so sexist. And I'm sorry, I'm okay with reading about characters that are sexist because that is real. A lot of people are. A lot of men are sexist. A lot of women are sexist too. But because this is a romance, the way I see this book becomes a lot more subjective. I find it difficult to see this book in an objective light because it is a romance novel. I want it to feel romantic. I want it to be a novel that I can read and feel like romance isn't dead, you know? But this is just, nothing has turned me off faster than this book, honestly. If Anthony had had some growth that showed that he didn't think all women are idiots and inferior, then, you know, he could have redeemed himself. But instead, I feel like the sexism is kind of rewarded in the story, and it just feels so gross to me. I know that I am not the target audience for this book. So, you know, if you like this book, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with you. It's just that we disagree on what a good love story should be, and we disagree on what is attractive. And that's fine. Not everyone finds everyone else attractive, and that's a good thing, you know? That's why you find your person and you stick with them. I just did not enjoy this book at all, and I feel aversion to this series now. I think I will not be reading any other Bridgerton books. They're just not for me. And maybe they were a result of the time where they were published, like the early 2000s, but at the same time I find it hard to believe. It's not that long ago, you know? 20 years is not that long. I wish that this book series didn't romanticize sexism, because that is kind of what they are doing. I've had so much to say about this book that I haven't really had the time to talk about the spread, but I will put links to everything that I used in this spread in the description box below. I actually really like how the spread turned out, and I think that it really fits the vibe of Bridgerton very well with all the flowers and the botanical elements. And I really like that. I love the colors as well. So yeah, very happy with the spread, although I'm not very happy with the book. And I think that's what's nice about a reading journal too, that, you know, you can make spreads that look pretty even though you don't feel like the book is pretty, and it's okay. The spreads don't always have to fit the vibe of the books. Let me know if you read this book and what you think of it. If you disagree with me or if you agree, I would love to hear about it. I gave it 1 star. That's just my experience with this book, and now I will put Bridgerton behind me. Unless, you know, there's a new season on Netflix, I will watch that. Moving on to the next book I read in August, and that was The Well of Ascension. This is the second book in the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I was really excited to start this book because I really enjoyed the first one. This is kind of an epic fantasy story, and really like that there are so many layers to the story. There's so many secrets to uncover, and the world is very interesting. The characters are very interesting. The world building just keeps going. I guess there's just more to unveil all the time, and that's what I really, really enjoy about good fantasy novels. We get some new interesting characters in the second book, which I really enjoyed. One of my complaints in the first book was that there were too few female characters. Like, there were two female characters, one of them being the main character and another one being like a very peripheral character. And it just, it just annoys me. In this book, we get two new female characters, which is nice. One of them has a fairly prominent role, which I really like. Tindwyl has a really interesting backstory. She might be one of my favorite characters from the books, actually. She has many layers and dimensions, and she helps the reader really understand how awful the Lord Ruler was in the past 1,000 years that he ruled. One thing that I find really interesting about this book series so far is that a lot of smaller characters are introduced and then disappear or just fades into nothing. Either they are killed or they just go away in some other way. And I find that really interesting because it is kind of true to reality. Like, that, if the story was real, that is what would have happened. Not everyone you meet is going to have a big consequence in the story of you or what you're doing. And so, although some of the characters seem a little bit meaningless, it does kind of make sense. To decorate this spread, I used a few of my leftover stickers from last year's advent calendar. So these dragon stickers and the green plaid washi tape, these were in the advent calendar last year. And I have saved a few things from last year that I wanted to keep for myself, but of course I can't keep everything forever. And although this book doesn't have any dragons, I still think that it was fitting for a fantasy novel to use dragons in my spread. I also really like the colors, and I tried to match my spreads with the covers for the books this month a little bit, but all three books had very difficult covers to color match, if that makes sense. The Well of Ascension, the cover has shades of like teal, turquoise, orange, or pink, red a little bit. It was a little bit difficult. In the end, I landed on a more like green and orange theme, and I think it works. Oh, and here you saw that I ripped off washi tape and ripped off all of the paper, but I ended up covering it with more washi tape and stickers, so it's all good. Again, I will link everything that I have links for in the description box below, and I will also state if it is for sale still or not, because some of the stationery that I have is pretty old and it hasn't been for sale for many years. And I still like to use them, but I do get questions sometimes where stuff is from, and then people can't get it because it is simply out of stock forever. Like these dragon stickers, they were a limited edition stickers that were in the advent calendar last year, and you can no longer get them. So that is another reason why you should get the advent calendar this year. Because it's limited. Anyway, I really like this layout that I've been doing for the past few months, where I have the book cover on the left or the right side of the spread in this column kind of on the side, where I have the star rating and the little section with author and publishing year, amount of pages and genre, and then a little space for a quote from the book. If I feel like it, I don't always fill it with anything, but I try to. And then I kind of framed the rest of the spread so that I have two columns to write my thoughts on the book. And then I did Mistborn on the top of the left column, the middle column, I guess it would be. I wrote Mistborn with my alphabet stickers, my green alphabet stickers. These were also in the advent calendar. And then I used the orange ones from the advent calendar to write Brandon Sanderson. at the bottom of the right page. And then I hand lettered the Well of Ascension with a Tombow dual brush pen, very similar to the Viscount Who Loved Me title, I guess. But the green is actually slightly different because it's not the same marker. But I did the same outline in black and kind of a little drop shadow with a smaller black fine liner, or thinner black fine liner, I should say. I really like this look. It's definitely become my go-to when it comes to making these hand-lettered titles. I just used my black Muji gel pen to fill in the spread. It just writes so smoothly, so I really like using it. It is the pen that I use mostly to write with in my bullet journal as well. Either the brown or the black one. Those are the ones I use the most. I think this spread turned out really cute, and I love the contrast between the orange and the green. I made a whole collection with that color combo, so maybe it's a bit biased of me, but I think that it's a really nice color combination, and I'm happy with the spread. So that was the Well of Ascension. So now we can move on to the third and final book that I read in August, which is the last of the Murderbot Diaries books, System Collapse. And this one is by Martha Wells. I will say, I wonder if it's not the last book, that it's just an unfinished series. I'm not sure, but if you guys have been watching my reading journal videos this year, you'll know that I've been reading my way through all of these Murderbot books. It is a collection of novellas and novels. This one is a novel, and it is the latest one. I think it came out last year. So I'm kind of optimistic that there will be more Murderbot Diaries books in the future, but I haven't really looked it up. And the reason why I think so is because it doesn't feel like the end of the story, you know? You can't really spoil anything. Like, even if I tell you what this book is about, it's not really going to spoil anything because each story is kind of contained in its own book. And yes, there is an overarching story or a red thread, but it's not the most important part of the series. I don't know if I'm explaining it well or if you can understand what I mean, but they are like bite-sized stories, or like episodes of a TV show that has like one story in each episode. Anyway, this one is actually one of my favorites out of all of the Murderbot books because there's so much action and there's a bit more like exploring of planets and stuff, and I really enjoy that. It's the exploration part that I love. I also like that we get to see more of Art and Murderbot together. Art Drone is here, and yeah, I just really enjoy it. To decorate this spread, I used some of these stickers from Gretlusky, and these were included in the art book that I bought a while ago. So it came with this huge sheet of vinyl stickers, so I just kind of cut roughly around them so that they would be easier to store. That's why they look a little bit strange, but yeah, 2 large stickers on the spread, and it was a little bit hard to find other stationery to combine with it, and so I ended up going with this kind of unusual or strange mix because I used some washi tape from Blossom Bujo, which is the blue and pink one with jellyfish on it. I chose that one because of the mermaid stickers. I kind of had a little bit of an ocean theme going on with the colors as well. But then in the big sticker with the butterfly and the girl and the ribs and the flowers, I wanted to use more of the flower aspect, so I used some of the parts from Paper Monogatari's summer collection pet tape because there's a lot of pretty flowers on that pet tape, and I cut out some of them, and they're purple, so they're gonna go with the purple flower in the sticker. And I don't know, I'm trying to justify the spread because it's a little bit strange, I think, but it works. For the title, I used my own alphabet stickers, and these are the gold ones. Well, I used the gold ones while I could. I had to use some yellow ones here and there because This is the last set that I have left of the gold ones, and I'm not making any more of them, so once they're gone, they're gone. And they have been sold out in my store for a while, and I'm not bringing them back. It's just one of those stickers that I don't really think that I should bring back. But anyway, I think that it works well on the spread. I like the little gold details, and the yellow fits with the cover. The dark cover kind of fits with the kind of dark and gritty style of Gretlusky's art. And that's kind of my idea behind this spread. I gave this book 5 stars because I really enjoyed it. The Murderbot Diaries have been such a great experience. I'm so happy I've been able to read them this year. I would definitely recommend them to you. It might be one of those books that can get you out of a reading slump if you're in one, especially because a lot of them are so short because they are novellas. And that is it. That's all the books I read in August, all the spreads that I made in my reading journal. So now, as always, we'll do a little flip through so that we can get a closer look at all of the spreads. If you have read any of these books, let me know in the comments what you thought of them. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Anything. And again, any recommendations for spooky month is greatly appreciated, and all other book recommendations as well. I really appreciate book recommendations because I'm the type of person who picks up a book based on a recommendation or the cover art or just the title. I don't really need to know that much about the story to pick up a book. I like to go in completely blind. As always, check out the description box for links to my other social media, discount codes, affiliate links, and links to everything that you've seen in this video. Well, all the things that I have a link for. I have a playlist on my YouTube channel with all of my reading journal videos from this year and also from 2023, and all of the older videos, they're there as well. So check that out if you want to watch more reading journal videos right away. I post a new one every month, so the next one will be my September reads. It will come out early October. And again, head over to my shop to pre-order this year's advent calendar. I've worked really hard on them, and I'm still working really hard to make sure that they get to all of you before the beginning of December. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate each and every one of you. A big thank you to my patrons. You guys are awesome. We are doing our own little mail-tober over on my Patreon, so I'm very excited for that. I hope that you're all having a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!